Dobar dan još jednom svima. Evo, stvarno mi je velika čast da zapravo sam htio uzeti ovu priliku da mogu najaviti Dabiz Munoza, jer mnogi koji me znaju, ja sam vjerojatno njegov najveći obožavatelj, tako da kad god mogu putujem u Madrid samo zbog njega, jer toliko volim sve restorane zapravo i različite koncepte koje on radi. Uglavnom, ako vas ikad dovede prilika, a nije Madrid na kraj svijeta, pokušajte, iako je izuzetno teško dobiti rezervaciju, probajte upasti u jedan od restorana. Street Exo je nedavno otvoren na jednoj novoj lokaciji, to je restoran onako malo jedan divlji street food, miks nekakve mediteranske, azijske, vrlo neobične kuhinje. Raviokso je njegov drugi restoran gdje kombinira azijsku, kinesku i talijansku kuhinju, ali na isto vrlo jedan onako otkačen način. I Diverso, njegov flagship, znači restoran sa 3 Michelinove zvjezdice, je vrlo je teško objasniti zapravo kakva je to kuhinja, ali doista fantastično, nezaboravno iskustvo, nešto što nikad ne zaboravite više u životu. Uz to, Dabiz je već drugu godinu za redom, znači ovu i prošlu, proglašen najboljim šefom svijeta. I mislim da smo stvarno presretni da jednu takvu veličinu već i drugu godinu za redom isto tako možemo ugostiti na Weekend Food Festivalu. Pa vas molim, dajte jedan veliki pljesak za Dabiz Munoza. Hvala.
So hello everyone. We are very happy and very honored to be here. In this Congress is our second year in a row. Thank you, Patrick, for inviting us. It's a great honor. So first of all, I'm gonna speak a little bit about what Diverso means and how did we started with this project 16 years ago. I opened Diverso when I was 27 years old. I opened it by my own. I didn't have any investor or anything. So many people, when I opened my restaurant in Madrid in that moment, told me that I was crazy because, Madrid now has going up a lot the last years. But in that moment, that was a different city and our concept was very different and very creative and was very humble. Actually, it was in a small neighbor of Madrid. The restaurant was very small, was very awful because we did not have enough money to make it nice. And at the beginning, we've been only 2 chefs, and we cook and we clean in the same time during service and during the day. And we had only 2 waiters. So I like to say, how did we begin in the past? Because sometimes the people doesn't understand what means success, and it's true that you can follow your dreams, you can achieve great things, but it's true that comes with a great effort and big sacrifice. So after a few years in the first location, we've been working like crazy, like the hell. We've been working like 18 hours in that moment. And we moved location, and after 2 years, we moved to another location in 2000. We opened Diverso in 2007. We moved location in 2009. So in that location, that still was in the same neighbor and was as well very, very humble, we achieved the first Michelin star in 2009, the second one 2011, and the third one in 2013. And that was really crazy because, Diverso, in that moment when we got the third Michelin star in 2013, we wasn't the typical 3 Michelin star restaurant. We were totally different in terms of food, service, and the restaurant by himself was, as I said, very, very humble. But, we were very young people with a dream. We were working constantly very hard. We achieved this success and another ones. So in 2013, after the third Michelin star, we moved to the third location. That is the actual one. And we are going to move once again next year. In that moment, Diverso, I think, is the best moment of the restaurant. But I'm pretty sure that the best is yet to come, because the new restaurant that we will open next year, we want to open it just trying to redefine what Diverso means, and we want to redefine and break the rules about fine dining restaurants. So having said that, it looks easy, but we know that we will have to be working once again very hard to achieve a new dream. Diverso actually is we are gonna play two different dishes that on our actual works in 2023. So Diverso is totally different, used to be totally different to fine dining restaurants in terms of food. We can say that it's going in the opposite way that the global trends in gastronomy used to be. I mean, in Diverso, in one menu of one person in Diverso, it can be present like more than 500 ingredients in different elaboration, different textures. We are just talking in Diverso menu, we are talking just about food, about creativity, and about flavor. I mean, we are obsessed with the flavor. I think a great idea, a great creativity, something unique is very nice, but if you don't feel that is amazing in your mouth, I think is pointless. I mean, the best emotion on a table for me is when you go into a restaurant, a creative restaurant, and the waiter is explaining you the dish, and you are like already mind-blowing because of the concept, the creativity, the technique, or wherever. And then you take the spoon, you put in your mouth, and it's like, wow. You know, if it doesn't happen that, I think there is a disconnection between the guest, the food, and what we want to achieve. So, so all the time from the beginning in Diverso, we were obsessed with making something unique. We didn't want to make something better or worse than anybody, but we wanted to make something that you cannot find it in any other part of the world. So that's why you'll see today in the two different dishes that there are so many ingredients in there. All the ingredients in my mind has to be there because of a reason. And at the end, for me, the Diverso plates are like an opera. So you go into an opera and there are a lot of musicians playing music, all of them, but at the end, you hear only one music that is very balanced and equilibrated. So for me, the Diverso dishes are exactly the same. There are a lot of ingredients, but the main ingredient doesn't exist, because the main ingredient is the whole concept of the dish, and is the flavor of the dish and the main creativity. So to me, Diverso, I like to say, I don't know if somebody about you from the people knows Black Mirror, but Black Mirror is a series from Netflix, and I like to say that Diverso menu is a little bit like that, because every dish has its own history and is totally individual from the rest of the dishes, and sometimes we change the order of the menu. Sometimes this can be at the beginning of the menu, sometimes can be on the middle, sometimes can be at the end, because for us the ecosystem of the menu is individual stories that, you know, they share a common DNA between the different dishes, but at the end they can coexist by themselves. They don't need to the dish before the dish before or the dish after, just to make it balance of the menu, because the concept is totally different. So we are going to start with one of the dishes that is a Pyrenaican ecosystem. Okay, so we are going to start first with the gallo de mos. The gallo de mos is a chicken, comes from the West in Spain is a chicken with a very strong flavor, very big in size, and the meat is red, full red. So we have to cook it like 24 hours to make it tender and juicy. So it's the bottom of the pot stew. At the end, we wanted to recreate what is the best part of the stew for me. So the best part of the stew is what left in the bottom of the stew. So this is where comes from the chicken. Is a small village in the northwest of Spain. They are a very small farm, and it's very difficult and very uncommon to find this kind of chickens. So this is the gallo de Mos. So, and because as I said in the verso, there happening a lot of things in one dish, we don't want to be explaining to the guest for half an hour what is inside of the dish, how do you have to eat it, because I think sometimes it's annoying being as a guest in a restaurant and just being listening to the waiter 5 minutes every time, explaining you what is in the dish, what is going to be the flavor, where the ingredients comes from. So we thought that the best way to explain the diverso dishes is with that drawing. So it's like a kind of creativity idea behind the plate, and as well you can see which are the ingredients, which are the sauces, how it's going to be the plating and everything. So at the end, we arriving to the table, we just give a very short and brief explanation to the guests, like 10, 15 seconds, no more, and we give them this drawing so they can follow and they can understand properly the concept of the dish. So for the bottom of the stew, we, as I said, we cook for 24 hours the gallo de Mos, that is this one. So the meat is full red, so it's like if you are eating almost red meat, and it's very juicy. The skin as well is very thick. So after being cooking all of this time, it's very tender, very moist. We cook it in his own juice, and we make with the juice of the bones of the chicken. We make a sauce that is going to be the base of the pot. So we reduce on the pot until it's getting a little bit burned in the sides. So with the other part of the chicken stock that we use for the stew, we made 2 different moles. In Diverso, we don't use almost salt. Actually, we dress and we condiment the plates with different chiles and ajís and different citrics. Actually, we had in one menu, inside of this 500 different ingredients that only one person can be eating in the restaurant. We use in at least for one menu like 18 in number chiles and 16, 17 citrics. So in this case, for the mole, that is, this one is a kind of like a mole poblano. So a mole poblano used to comes from Oaxaca. In this case, we use chile chipotle and chile pasilla and a little bit of chocolate. So for plating the other mole is a mole coloradito, and for that mole we use chile chilpetin. It's a very small and uncommon chile as well, but very powerful and very fruity in flavor. So we have the chicken. We are gonna put on top the mole. So in the restaurant we used to do it little bit different. But here, because we don't have a proper kitchen, we are gonna just to show you the idea and how it's plated. I will be explaining all the time about the dish. So we use as well these beans. So these beans are coming from Asturias. Asturias, one of the most important dishes in Asturias is the fabada. So the fabada is a bean stew. This one is a guy, an old guy from a small village as well, that he's farming this bean that is very, very creamy, and the skin is very soft. We cook it on the steam oven for 2 hours because we want it to the very important thing for a bean like that is to being very creamy, but don't lose the skin. So it might look simple, but it's not. I mean, in the small details, I think is the winning results. So we place in the beans. We are gonna make 3. So at the end, the main idea is that you are gonna eat what left on the bottom of the pot. So we have as well a cockscomb from the chicken. So we are gonna place the cockscomb as well on the base of the pot. That it changes the texture, it changes the flavor. We cook it as well inside of the mole. And on top of the mole poblano, we are gonna place the mole coloradito. So in this case, we are gonna have 2 different moles with 2 different flavors, with 2 different texture, and it's gonna be inside of the dish 3 different chiles. So for me, the chilies, the ajís, and all of these capsicum ingredients, they are completely different between one and another one. They smell different, they taste different, you can feel the spiciness and the hotness totally different. So you have to, the best way to use them is just understand them, because if it's not, of course, maybe it's gonna be too hot, or maybe you are gonna not find all the aromas that comes from this kind of chiles. So already when the plate is done, you are gonna feel all of different aromas and all of these different textures that, to me, all of them is gonna come together, like I said, because it's true that there are so many things, but everything makes sense at the end. So this is a kind of beurre blanc that we use with buffalo's milk and little bit of the beans as well. So it's like a kind of beurre blanc of buffalo's milk that we finish it with an emulsion of the beans. So we're using as well, we like to use, sometimes on the dishes on Diverso, we use as well the concept from nose to tail. I mean, we like to use different parts from the same animal protein, or different parts from the same vegetable. So in this case, this is a corteza of chicken feet, as well from the gallo de mos. So we put on the corteza a little bit of coconut powder and chipotle chili powder. That is the same that we use for the mole poblano. So then we have a chili chipotle oil that we are gonna place on top of the beurre blanc. We have some herbs that come as well from the Asturias mountain. So we make a herb oil that is gonna be on top of the beurre blanc. With the bones of the chicken, we make a powder, a black powder. We make ashes from the chicken bones. So one of the things that I love in in the bottom of the pot stew when we cooking pot stew in Spain are the vegetables. ¿Dónde están las? Sí. So normally in a fine dining restaurant you find the vegetables in a. Normally they are not too much cooked. I mean we're trying to make it most of the times al dente. But because we want to recreate the idea of the bottom of the pot, and because this is the Swiss chart that we overcook for 2 hours until it's almost disintegrate. I like the texture that comes with this kind of vegetables when you overcook extremely until the point that is almost gone. So we put it on the base of the. This is the leaves, and then we got the base of the Swiss chard. That is this one that as well is overcooked already, so we got the Swiss chard as well, both parts, the leaves and the stalks. So we are gonna finish it with some herbs. In this case, it's gonna be cilantro, it's gonna be coriander. And because normally as well, when you eat a stew, normally there is bread, and you put the bread just to catch up the rest of the sauce that is of the bottom. So we are not going to use bread. We're using as well, in this case, we nixtamalize our own corn, that because in Asturias there are people that are farming one of the greatest corn in Europe. So we make our own tortillas. We nixtamalize everything in the restaurant, and we are gonna make a flour taco. So in this case, we got garden flowers, and we are gonna dress it with a dressing that is just chicken oil that we use as well from the Gallo de Mos, rice vinegar. So on the base, using the same, me falta el mojo. El mojo? Ah, sí. So using the same herbs that we had used for the oil, we make a kind of mojo of the same herbs that is we are gonna place on the base of the taco. That is tastes like a sweet and sour and a little bit spicy. So normally the dish comes like that with our taco on the side. Some calamansi, that is this small citric that we burn on the brasa just to finish it on top of the pot stew. So we say to the customer just to eat the pot stew, and when they are finished already, just to catch up the rest of the sauce, they take the taco and they spread on the bottom and they eat it. So this is the first course. Sí, pero vamos a colocar todo. ¿Dónde lo vamos a montar aquí? Vale. Sí. Sí. ¿Estamos? Sí, pues no hay vídeo. So the second one is a dish that the inspiration comes from Tokyo. So the first time I went to Tokyo was like 20 years ago, and I went to a restaurant that wasn't in that time, was a few years after. I've been in a restaurant called Sushi Kimura. So Sushi Kimura used to make nigiris, but with mature fish. So he ate the fish, and his signature dish is a swordfish nigiri that he aged for 3 months. That is unbelievable, but at the end was the flavor, the texture, and everything on the fish wasn't too strong, wasn't too fishy, but was very moist, was very deep in flavor and textures. And I was mind-blowing because of the concept, because the people in Japan, people in Tokyo, the customers and the chefs are crazy with the freshness. So we can say that this kind of chefs that they do in aged fish for the nigiris is something uncommon and is something rare. So the main idea of the dish is this kind of aged sushis, but we wanted to recreate the Pyrenean ecosystem. So the Pyrenean ecosystem, there are a few mountains in Aragon. So in that part, we have one of the most unbelievable fishes that they are not coming from the sea. That is the trout. So these trouts are living in natural pools in the middle of the mountain, so it's very cold. So they have a very hard meat. They got a strong flavor. They are a strong color. The fat is like if you are seeing a wagyu, because everything is between the layers of the meat, and is one of the most unbelievable ingredients about fish that I discovered like 2 years ago. So this is the trout that we ate already. We ate the trout for 1 month. We take out all the scales on the skin, but we leave it with the skin. We take out as well all the offals, and we leave it to age for 1 month. So you can see this is after being aged. So normally what happens in this kind of fish is that they are very, very fatty. They loosen in the age process, they loosen the water, and it's like if they had holes on the meat after losing the water. So the fattiness comes to fill all these holes. So that's why then when you eat it, it's like a more tender and more moist. So this is the way it looks after open it. So we wanted to recreate the place where this trout lives and the place where these trouts are farmed. So they are in semi-savage living in these pools, because we wanted to recreate the concept of aged nigiri. We make this kind of sushi table to plate the dish. So we, first of all, one of the most important things in a sushi is the rice. So we did 3 different textures of rice. We wash the rice for make a sushi rice, and in that process, washing the rice, it loses the starch. So with the starch, we make this. We take the starch, we put it in a cloth, and we cook it steam. So we're making what commonly in China knows as a chen-fan. So chen-fan is no more than a kind of dot, very, very chewy and very soft in the same time. So we make the cloth with the water, with the rice starch. We cook it on steam, and then we roll it until we get something like that. That is full starch rice. We pan fry on the wok. We put it on the plate. So we cook with that rice that we have been cleaned to get the starch and make the chen-fan. We cook a traditional sushi rice, and we're using this traditional sushi rice in 2 ways. One of them is going to be on top of the chen-fan, And the other one, we are gonna be drying the sushi rice until it's getting very dry. We dry it in the dehydrator for 2 days, something like that, until it's totally dry. And then we pulverize in the machine, and then we fry. So we're making as well a crispy rice couscous. So on top of the chen fang, we are gonna place a fermented chili paste that we make at home with a little bit of olives. That is very nice for acidity and umami taste. We place the sushi rice, the traditional one, and we are gonna finish it. We make a nikiri, or a tare, if you wanna say. It's the sauce that with mirin and soya that sometimes in some restaurants they put on top of the fish in the nigiris. So we make this one a little bit thick just to place it on top of our chen fang. We are gonna place on the side the crispy rice couscous. So in that part of the mountains, there are a lot of pines. So we make a pine oil to dress the crispy couscous. We are gonna use as well some peanut nuts on the plate. We make a creamy rice vinegar that we are gonna place on different dots on the plate that is gonna give some acidity to the dish. So we got the trout that we cook at 52 degrees for only 10 minutes because we want it to feel almost raw. I mean, we don't want to be raw, we want to be warm because the concept of the dish must be warm. I mean, must be the same temperature that when you are eating a nigiri. So we make the same sauce that we have here already thickened, but we leave it liquid. So we are gonna just brush on top of the trout. So we place the trout. This is just the loin of the trout, but with the belly of the trout, we make a kind of yakitori. So we take the belly of the trout and we put in a pine leaf. We cook it a la brasa with little bit of the soya sauce that we have been made for the other two sides. And we are gonna finish with some black truffle because in that part of the Spain, in these Pyrenean mountains, we had one of the best black truffles in Spain. They are very aromatic. But this is not all, because in just besides the pools of the Pyrenean mountains where the trouts are living, there are rivers, and in those rivers is the only part. Those rivers is the only part with the Basque country that we had in Spain the crayfish. So this crayfish is living on the river inside of the forest. So we did three things with the crayfish. We did a kind of chupe. So chupe is a soup that it got his main origin in Peru. So it's like a kind of bisque, but with chile and citrus and evaporated milk. So this is gonna be the site of our dish. This is gonna be the second part. We put inside the crayfish head, just a la brasa, a little bit pan fry. We finish it again with the truffles. I said we do three things with the crayfish. So this is the crayfish meat. That we put on top a crayfish emulsion. And we are going to finish the dish with some herbs. And of course, nigiri dish cannot exist if there are not wasabi. So we grate fresh wasabi and we put it just on the side of the dish. So this is the second and final dish that they are both part of the Diverso menu in 2023. So only a short statement about what we've been cooking here already. As you see, there are a lot of things going on in a dish. That's why I was saying at the beginning of the chat that to me, only one dish in Diverso is a whole history. Only one dish almost can be a whole tasting menu. For me, everything is connected. For me, all the ingredients, all the elaborations, everything has to be there because of a reason. To me, it's difficult to say which is going to be the main ingredient or the most important ingredient in both dishes, because at the end, to me, the main ingredient is the whole history, the whole flavor, the different texture. And what I can say, when the people comes to the restaurant and eating those dishes, is like a real roller coaster, with full of flavor, big creativity, and totally different. Thank you very much.